Good evening, guys. I hope your day was good, and I am hoping to go back to the library this Saturday with a friend. Not for too long though, because of my physical conditions. Just for like 30 minutes. But the last time I went to the library is like the last time that I like the fastest time I could have went in these past times. Like I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something, because things came up. I actually wanted to read a book about hamsters because I don't know, when I have a pet, I just want to make sure that they have the best life possible. Like, how can I make them happy? I'm unhappy sometimes. In most of my life, I'm unhappy. How can I make somebody else or something else happy? How can I make my pets happy? How can I make them live a good life before they pass away? Because especially hamsters, the small ones that I have, they don't live that long. I mean, they could. The maximum is 3 years, but that's if you get lucky. Like, with the fish that I have right now, it should have died already. Like, my parents got it a year ago, and the whole fish tank died of fish. And the one that I have right now is still alive somehow. I don't know how. I'm just imagining God, because I love fish. Like, I love a lot of animals. So, like, I just love fish. Like if it was to die, I would go get another one the very next day. So, like, I'm glad it's still alive, because I had such an emotional connection with the fishes at my parents' house. Because a year ago, like, I was still at my parents' house. And I just moved out, like, a couple months ago. So, like, I still had that, like, that vibe from them and that emotional connection with them. So I was kind of happy when I could take one of them home to my apartment, and you know, they're still alive. So I did pick up a book about hamsters. It's kind of like for adults. It's kind of like a nonfiction book, because I didn't want to read the kids ones, because I'm not a kid anymore. And I don't think that way anymore. Like, you know, having the mindset of a child. So I only read a few pages, because it's a lot to take in, especially in a nonfiction book. Like, you have to take a break, especially with the psychology books I used to read. Like, you have to take a break, like, after 30 minutes, because they just handed you a lot of information and you need to process it. Not only, like, read what's being said, the meaning behind it. And what I read about the hamsters in my time at the library was that they need to exercise at some point. They need to be out of the cage at some point. And I know that's obvious, but to me, I was kind of like, oh, I can leave my hamsters in the cage all fucking day, and I can just talk to them when I need to. No, it's not like that. It's literally having a child in your room. Like, you have to pay attention to it at least 3 to 4 times a week. And, like, for a span of 30 minutes maximum. And I didn't know that before, because, like I said with the story about my roommate, like, she kind of pushed me away from my hamsters. Like, emotionally, spiritually, in every aspect, I kind of was, like, pushed away. And I was kind of like, oh, why do I need to pay attention to them? They're hamsters. Like, they're literally an animal. Like, why do I need to pay attention to them? But, like, after reading those few pages in the hamster book, I'm kind of like, wait, hamsters have emotion too. It kind of made me realize that. And they need to be loved too. And they need to work out too. Now, I'm not saying like a fucking full out workout, but I'm just saying, like, they just need to walk around in a new environment other than their cage, because they get bored. And think about it, as a human, we get bored and depressed if we're in the same space the entire day, every day. Like, if you're in your room every day, all day, doing absolutely nothing, you're gonna get depressed at some point, if you're already not. So, and that's usually one of the symptoms of depression. Depression just means, like, it's affecting your daily life, and you're just sad all the time. But mainly the part of why it's called a disorder, major depressive disorder, is because it's affecting your daily life. Like, every second, every decision you make when you have depression is because you're depressed. You're not taking a shower because you're depressed. You're not eating because you're depressed. You can't go out because you don't want to leave your apartment because you're depressed. So, like, hamsters can get depressed too if they're not paid attention to. And that made me realize that. I'm like, I feel like I let my roommate control me in a sense. And now it's like, I gotta take that power back. Like, I'm reading this book about hamsters, and it's like, I gotta take my power back in some way, because I don't want my hamsters to suffer because I'm suffering. So I would recommend dude, you don't really gotta pay attention to them for too long. Like, they just don't care. Most of the time, they don't care. But, like, for me, since I'm busy working most of the time remotely, like I said, 3 to 4 times a week, 30 minutes maximum, 30 minutes maximum each time you're playing with them. Or, yeah, you can just do random stuff with them. Like, you could put, like, a blanket on your bed and just let them explore and put, like, a few toys. Literally, like, anything. And they'll just crawl over it and look at it and, like, explore. And that's, like, you don't really have to do much. So, that's what I learned from the first few pages of the hamster book in nonfiction in the library.